There's a lot to digest here, and I go into it in much more depth in my interview with Critical Insight, and I can't really write 5,000-word piece, but that does provide a lot. I just wanted to say on the subject of sanctions that they go both ways. You know, now what the United States has done to date is impose sanctions on much weaker enemies, and they wind up being murderous. You know, I mean, Iranians have felt it firsthand, where commodity prices triple, and it's completely impossible to live in the capital anymore, all that stuff. And same with Iraq, where it's, you know, you had the death of 500,000 kids because of the sanctions and that. It's a kind of war. It is the triggering of Article 5 by other means. And now, remember that when you're cheering on the likes of Azov and Svoboda and Pravy Sektor, the Nazis who hijacked the government in Kiev in the coup of 2014 and are pursuing that agenda. It's not just a question of, are the Russians ready? Are you ready? Are the Western cheerleaders of the NATO provocations? Are you ready for $5, $6, $7 gas? No, it cuts both ways. And taking the wealth fund, the dollar out of the wealth fund, skipping the SWIFT systems and merge systems with China, all of these are demanding that Russia restructure its entire economy, way of life, really. It's going to be a huge thing, but they had no choice. They're basically being kicked out of the club. The reciprocation and the results themselves. Cheap gas for Europe. The boomerang is enormous. The other thing I just wanted to touch on was when I mentioned, you know, that about blonde, blue-eyed people being treated as more important in this conflict than the brown recipients of NATO and U.S. bombing. I never mean to imply here, there, or anywhere that their lives are less important. It's just that they're not more important. I also wouldn't necessarily say that the Russians possess a unique humanity, although the wars that they have lived through have taught them, I think, a unique history and unique values about the cost of human life and the risks involved with war. They know what they're talking about. I think that the destruction of the Anglo-U.S. empire over half a millennium, remember that, 500 years of that atrocity, I think that's uniquely inhumane. But the Russians are fighting with a brother nation. A lot of these fighters, there's virtually not a single fighter in the LNR, DNR who don't have family on the other side. And there's a reason that they treat it differently. You know, not because they place a higher value on human life, but also because they do consider themselves to be one nation. So they treat it a little differently. So I'm sure there'll be more to say about it, and, you know, I'll be here.